The Las Vegas housing market is in the middle of the summer selling season, while also dealing with the continued impact of low housing inventory and higher mortgage interest rates. So stick around, because today I'm going to cover the important data that you need to know, along with what it means. This is the July 2023 edition of the Las Vegas Housing Market Update. So first, let's quickly look at the market stats for single-family residences in the greater Las Vegas area. Now, these stats are brought to you by Las Vegas Realtors. Median sales price for single-family homes in June was $444,000, which is practically the same thing as last month, but down 7.5% year over year from June 2022, which shows the slight correction we had since last summer. Now, closed sales were also very similar to last month, only down about 1% in June after going up 18.7% from April to May. Year over year, though, closed sales were down just under 14%, which demonstrates that last summer we had a lot more action when rates were in the 4 to 5% range. As for housing inventory, there were 4,087 homes for sale in June, which kept with the theme and was practically at the same level as May. Now, year over year, though, inventory is down an astounding 44.7%, which is the main reason why higher interest rates haven't pushed down prices much further yet. And then finally, looking at average days on market, which is how fast the homes have sold, we see that while every other major stat seemed to be steady, homes actually sold 11.6% faster in June versus May. Now versus last June though, homes sold 123.5% slower year over year, which is just another amazing stat to show how different the Vegas market was just a year ago. All right, now let's look at townhomes and condos. Median sales price for townhomes and condos was $275,000 in June, which is unchanged from May, and down only 1.8% year over year, which shows us that the market correction we saw had a really little impact on this sector of homes. Closed sales leveled off and fell 4.1% this past month after jumping up an impressive 26.6% from April to May. Year over year, closed sales for townhomes and condos were down 12.1%. Inventory totaled 1,055 available townhomes and condos in June, which is basically equal to last month's tally of 1,057, but down a whopping 39.4% from last year. And finally, even though median price was flat and closed sales dropped slightly, townhomes and condos in Vegas were sold 10% faster in June versus May, but 125% slower from last June, which is an impressive drop. So one last metric to consider is the current status of mortgage rates. Now let me preface this by saying I am not a lender, and when I talk about average mortgage rates, it's simply for informational purposes. Mortgage rates vary per buyer, and they're really based on your credit score, your financial condition, if you're buying a home to live in or to rent out, etc. Looking at average rates on a 30-year fixed conventional loan right now in July, we're seeing rates over 7% for qualified buyers. As for FHA and VA loans, we're seeing rates hover just under 7%. Now, all three loan types are at their highest level in over 15 years, which tells you it's really a good time to be a cash buyer. So what do all these stats mean for the Vegas housing market? Well, aside from the days on market stat, every other major stat I covered for Vegas was practically equal or only slightly different from last month. That shows that buyer demand is still increasing because of the summer months, but also that the market's plateauing a bit after we saw some really dramatic increases in price and in closed sales from April to May. The fact that things are still level though, even though rates are constantly increasing, shows that buyers are getting used to the tougher home buying conditions. Now that's likely because inventory is going to continue to be a problem. Plus, there's an expectation from the general public that mortgage rates will eventually drop in the coming 2 years, which will then allow them to refinance and get a lower mortgage payment. Now, the theme that we keep coming back to is that high mortgage rates are doing enough to slow down the market, but not enough to pull it down significantly, which seems to be the desire of the Fed in its battle against inflation. Funny enough though, the inventory issue might actually alleviate itself slightly once rates do come down, since many of the home buyers who got 2 to 3% mortgage rates during the pandemic will be likelier to sell their current homes if they're then able to turn around and buy another home when rates are in the 4 to 5% range. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and if you guys have any questions about the Las Vegas housing market, I'd love to hear from you. Have a great day.